Hello and welcome to the Average FPLers podcast. My name is Russell and I'm joined by Michael. How are we doing?
Hello.
Hello. So the season is approaching, new season, game week 1 in a couple of days on Friday. So we are looking ahead, looking at our teams and seeing what we have planned or what we don't have planned so far. So let's have a look at the topics. Oh, and we should probably mention that Gaz is not here at the moment because Gaz has still not done his team yet.
Is that
And
one of the topics, or is that just
it's
apropos?
not, but we should probably mention it for people that are like, oh, I'm sure there was 3 of them.
Yeah, where's that weird guy that,
Yeah.
that coughs loudly and seems to make tea in the background?
Yeah, he's not here yet, so it remains to be seen whether he's going to be back, but we shall keep you posted. But all we
Yes.
know is he's not done a team yet, and he's planning to do one on Thursday, so tomorrow. So very last minute, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, uh, compared to everyone else who does draft after draft after draft and research into preseason, Gaz does none of that. And
Hmm.
then if he can be bothered, he does it. He might not be bothered. You'd think with the way it pans out, he's been living a summer of adventure and globetrotting. No, he just can't be asked, really. So
He's
we
got
probably should have.
he's got a blocked toilet, so he's got a lot going on.
That's a lot going. I haven't had an oven for 3 months. We've all got a lot going on, bruv. You know
Well, to be
the
fair,
joys.
I only started doing my team last week, so yeah.
Oh yeah, you're not absolved either. I
Oh
mean,
no, I've
you
had a nice time off. I've not really paid attention to the friendlies or anything like that. Um, yeah, and I had to really get myself motivated, but I think I'm there now. I'm motivated.
I
Yeah,
think I'm there
I think
now.
I'm there.
Like less than 48 hours before it starts.
Yeah, takes some time, but I've got there. So
I might be ready.
well, we'll see.
I'm not sure.
I'm actually a bit more prepared than you. So I mean, yeah,
Yes, you are.
you're giving me a hard time, but yeah,
It's fun.
yeah. But yeah, so topics. We shall reveal our teams. Talk. Well, not necessarily transfers, but what players we're choosing for game week 1. Going to look at some preseason stats and fixture difficulty. And then, as we alluded to, Mike has done a team, but they're not really changed much. So we may be switching over and doing a bit of a live team selection for you, Mike.
We'll do it live.
Yeah. Um, and then, yeah, to finish up, we always do some league predictions before the season starts. So we'll look at mine and Mike's league predictions and compare. Um, so, yeah, without further ado, game week 1 preview. And I've put myself up first.
It's probably for the best.
Yep. So change of team name this year. Should probably speak about that. Ready to rise again. To play on Gabrielle songs. So covers all the Gabrielles play for Arsenal. Plus
Uh,
Rice.
it- at this point, and you would be chattering like
Gaz
two
would
hyenas.
love this. He's gonna like it. He's gonna enjoy it. Yeah.
It took you forever to get a name.
That's partly the reason why I hadn't signed up and done my team yet, because I was trying to think of a name. So
Which is genuinely one of the worst excuses ever. I can't think of a team name. You could have just called it Russ FC until you figured one out, and it might have
yeah,
inspired you to see other team names. And you were like, no, no, I won't do any of it until I am absolutely certain I have a name.
I had to
And
nail
then
the
that
team
dragged
name
on for
first.
6 weeks,
It's very
at least
important.
6 weeks.
It's very important. Yeah. The good thing is, I had other ones that I've managed to use now in Sky. So I've done a Sky team this year. Um,
Oh, I haven't yet.
and it looks like I'm joining your draft as well. So I've had to do another team name for that as well.
Yeah,
So
I changed my name to that.
yeah, so basically I've got to use all my choices that I came up with. That's pretty
But
good.
there you go. There's the benefit of having multiple different fantasy games to play.
Yep.
You know, if you ever get more names, you can just play all the other fantasy games like the lunatics do. play the Championship, League One. You could play the Swedish league. Fucking
Oh,
MLS.
in Sky, I can have more than one team, can't I? So if I think up another
You can
name.
have an endless possibility and amount of teams and enter them all into the same league. That way,
Mm.
if you finish third, second, and third, you can pick whichever one you'd rather take accolades for.
Mm. Well, first probably, but
Possibly, but if you're being humble, you might be like, yeah, I came third this year. It was a good battle between two other guys, which was definitely just me.
yep.
You know,
Yeah. Well, my work league's normally quite small. It depends how many people join it. So
compact.
I think there was only 3 teams in there when I joined the other night. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. But
Get the lads going.
and
Chew them up.
then it's always how much I keep up on Sky, because normally I only check that like once every few months and go, all my team's injured. Oh no.
Yeah.
And I've
It's
not set my
embarrassing.
captain for weeks. So.
No. It's and still somehow top 5 usually in your league with that, because all the other guys don't do it either.
Yep. That's good. Or at least I got a chance then. So
You're in. As long as you've got a ticket, you're always in with a chance of winning.
exactly. Very true. Yes. But yeah, probably get onto my team that I picked.
Yeah.
So I'll run through it. I've got Pickford in goal, Estepinian, Stones, and Chilwell and Saliba at the back. Midfield: Fernandez, Saka, Matoma, and Salah. Saka's my captain as well. And then Haaland and Jackson up front. And then my bench is Virginia, Harmada. I can't say that. Harmada. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace normally before the season starts do players to say their name properly. That would be one of the names where you go, oh, that's how you say it.
I had it nailed earlier, and then for some reason just then I couldn't talk. So
Yeah, you can't do it. You see,
no.
stress got to you.
Yeah, it did. But yeah, so him,
Yeah.
Emerson and McAtee.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think I'm fairly happy with that. It's about my third draft, so I think I did one draft. It was a bit more balanced. I don't think I had Salah in my first draft. And actually my bench was quite strong with that.
Yes.
But then yeah, I just really fancied having Salah in my team, and with Salah and Haaland, 2 big premiums, it's a bit more of a
It's a lot of
struggle.
cash.
But it has given me an easier bench to select, which is good.
It's because you can't afford anyone.
No. I do like a Harmada though.
Okay. Why is he playing regularly? I haven't
I
kept an eye on.
Well, I don't know, obviously, because the season hasn't started yet. But looking on the Fantasy Football Hub and predicted lineups, he is predicted to start, which I quite like.
Well, they lost Zaha.
Hmm.
Elise is injured currently, but there are strong rumours that either Chelsea or Man City will hit his buyout clause before the window shuts. His buyout clause is only 35 million. Genuinely devastated that Tottenham are not going for him for that money. And then who else have they got? Mateta is rumored to be on the way out. And then I think they just signed Franca from Brazil, and he is currently injured. So yeah, that would make sense probably. I haven't, like I said, I haven't checked their last friendly. Usually with preseason, the last friendly that a team plays gives you a rough idea of who the starting lineup's going to be. Doesn't necessarily mean that that team's going to be, top bins or get any good goals, whatnot. But you get a rough idea. You go, okay, that's going to be the team. Can I fit that player into my team, or should it be an option? I mean, I know Eze is the only go-to for most people at Palace.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's owned by like 40% of the league now, right? I know it's high.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah.
But then there was more rumours that Tottenham are going to bid for Eze before the window shuts as well. So it's like, Jesus, Palace are absolutely getting sort of plundered before the season even starts. And if that happened, especially with Roy Hodgson, you probably think they're going to go down as opposed to finish as high as they did, like 9th. You can't lose your whole front line and expect to just hang in there.
I mean, Zaha's a big loss, but not as big as it was. But then, yeah, if they lose Elise and stuff like that, then
losing one's bad, but losing 3 or more is devastating.
Yeah.
So, especially for Palace, who's continuity is always a good thing to have with a team. So, and if you don't have a pre-season with these new players either, it's going to be even more of an uphill struggle. So, and the only one that they have signed early that has sort of been blooded in is Jefferson Lerma, right? Who has quite a few years' experience in this league anyway for Bournemouth previously. So, although the man you mentioned wasn't even on the bench for Palace in their last game.
Hamada.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh no, actually, I'm lying to you. Come on 67 minutes for Decorah.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
The Palace website just has it weirdly set up.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
could be okay. Could be okay.
He's a midfielder, right, or is he a striker?
Midfielder.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much?
4.5.
Okay, 4.5.
So yeah,
Oh,
cheap.
that's fine.
Cheap.
I mean, if you wanted a cheap, regular starting 4-5 midfielder, then you just look at someone as a defensive midfielder, I guess. But if he's a winger of some description, I've really not done much research into Palace.
Yeah, well, the other one, people are... So actually, I'll skip ahead and then we'll go back to the slide.
Carry on.
Anderson of Newcastle. So I've got up here, I've taken the player stats, pre-season stats. I have taken some out, so I've kind of cut the list down myself to players I prefer, maybe looking at fixtures and stuff like that. And then I kind of worked out a point system on it based on their position and how many goals and assists they got. So it works out that Salah, it was the best player in pre-season, which I think everyone knows. Two goals, 7 assists. But yeah, Anderson, Newcastle, who's 4.5, 4 goals, 3 assists.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, but the only problem is, didn't they just sign Harvey Barnes not too long ago? So
that's my problem with Anderson. I don't think he plays.
No, the only positive side around him would be that he may not play, but with the new rules regarding time wasting and on the clock, they're going the same way as the World Cup. So we could get like 10, 11, 12 minutes of extra time. If Anderson came on and say like the 80th minute, he could still get a good 25-minute run out. So
true.
As a bench option, there's opportunity there. It's going to be like that for quite a lot of players. Like there was people worrying about Brighton players, but if you say only getting Ciso for 15 minutes, but then he gets another 10 minutes in extra time, that's a 25-minute cameo then, and then you're not so hung up, I guess, about getting the risk. There's more chance of a goal there, especially as teams tire. They said with the new rule,
4.5 million. Plus, he's probably only going to sit on the bench most teams.
Yes,
so...
you're not going to start him.
No.
So there's a lot to be pleased about with that.
So I could, if I get a sniff that a Hamada isn't going to start or something like that, then I could switch to Anderson. Possibly.
Well, I mean, he didn't start the last game, but he came on as a sub, so that's at least it means he's in the reckoning.
Yeah. All I'm basing it on is, like I said, the predicted lineups, and how reliable they're going to be. I don't know. Probably more reliable in the next couple of days, but yeah.
After press conferences, I think which are going to be tomorrow, right? And there'll be some on Friday.
Yeah,
no doubt.
But it's tricky because we've got the Friday game, so the deadline.
Oh, it's going to be a tight squeeze again.
Yep. But yeah.
But No, I mean that's a fair play. I mean, there are not a lot of 4-5s in terms of 4-5s that are going to be attacking midfielders or wingers, but Elliot Anderson's probably the best. I'll be intrigued to see what Ross Barkley comes in at for Luton. If I'm sure they'll put him in at 5 to make it awkward, but
Probably.
it'd be quite nice if we got another Charlie Adam at Blackpool situation where he comes in and they're just absolutely fabulous and they surprise everyone and stay up. And you've got like a 5 million 90-minute man every week who's getting goals and assists with relative ease. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful on that one. I'm watching intently. I'm
Yeah.
intrigued to see what happens to Luton because I don't think Luton are going to be as bad as everyone says because they've got a really good manager.
I hope not.
And
yeah, be good to see him do well.
I mean, again, they're not throwing money just ostensibly at everything and going, oh, how much is that? I'll just buy everyone. Like Nottingham Forest bought, like, what was it, 30 players last year, and they still nearly went down. So they're not expending excessive amounts, but they are building players that if they do or did go down, they would be okay in the Championship still. So
Yeah.
I think they're kind of sort of half resigned to the idea that they may not survive, but at the same time still trying to be competitive. And they're doing a shit side better than Sheffield United, who have lost their 2-star players in weeks and signed pretty much nothing, really. Spoiler alert, I think
Yeah, I've
Sheffield
not.
United come
Yeah,
dead last.
like I said, I've not really been following what's going on at all.
No, you and Gaz are not renowned for following
No.
any kind of news.
Yep, I completely shut myself off from it. It's good. It's nice, but yeah, I can't say I've heard much from Sheffield United on that side. So
Well, they're up for sale. They lost Njai to Olympic Marseille. And Olympic? Why am I confused? I don't think that's wrong. To Marseille, regardless. And then they're about to lose Sanderberger to Burnley, so another promotion rival. And they're their two main players. And they've not signed anyone. They signed, I think it was Austin Trusty from Arsenal, who's a right back, which kind of makes the Baldock pick bad because Baldock was the 4.0 go-to guy, but he may now have major competition that sees him drop out completely. So, yeah, and I'll be intrigued I don't think Sheffield United have got enough, but you never know. The club might be sold within the week, and then they have a mad sprint to the finish kind of deadline. I was saying this yesterday to a few people that we could genuinely be in a situation where we pick a team for game week 1, and because so many teams are selling and so many teams are buying still.
Yeah.
You could wild card after deadline date because none of your players are there anymore. I mean, Kepa was the other one last night who might be leaving to go Bayern Munich. That would make Robert Sanchez number 1 at Chelsea, and then you'd probably want Sanchez then, right? 4.5 million. So
yeah, well,
there's that.
goalkeeper's a bit of a nightmare position at the moment because, well, if Arsenal get Raya, there's doubts over Ramsdale. I think Ramsdale starts still, but it puts doubt in there. Then Pickford was maybe leaving at some point, probably staying now. I think I remember
Possibly
that.
staying.
You've got Kepa, like you said. I'm sure there's some others that are a bit iffy
But
as well.
there's Kepa and Sanchez. I mean, Flecken, everyone keeps saying go to Flecken, but he didn't exactly cover himself in any kind of glory during pre-season.
No.
But I can't remember.
Brian still was probably going to be the goalie, but I think the sub there.
Verbruggen.
Yeah.
They've both been doing about like 45 each, but yeah, I imagine Steele will start, but he might, one mistake and I could see him losing his spot quite quickly.
Yeah.
And then you've got West Ham. There's doubts about if Areola is going to take the spot from Fabianski. And then who else? Tottenham have only got the one goalkeeper in Vicario, so it has to work. Otherwise, we'll have to play Forster. Yeah. So there are options, but there are also so many transfers still going on that you just don't know what to stick with, what not to.
That's what I did. I did struggle with my goalie pick, but yeah, I've gone Pickford, partly because of Evans' fixtures. So yeah, so if I go back, where I look at pre-season clean sheets and stuff and fixture difficulty. So Everton and Wolves kept 4 clean sheets. So I know it doesn't really mean much because it's pre-season, so it depends who they were playing and stuff like that. But that's obviously promising. And then yeah, looking at fixture difficulty, Everton are one of the teams I picked out in the top 5 as the best fixtures.
Yes, they've got
yeah,
a
I've
lot
only
of
done
home.
it for 4 weeks, but on the hub they picked out teams game week 1 to 8, and they picked
Yeah,
Everton as the top team there as well.
it's because of the 8. They've got 5 home fixtures, right? I think that's it. It's either
Possibly.
5 home fixtures or it's just 5 fixtures that are favourable. Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Burnley, probably teams in and around their sort of level, and especially with Fulham not having, I assume,
Yeah,
played into the window.
5 home fixtures in the first 8.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, game week 8 is Bournemouth, game week 7's Luton. Yeah, I mean, they've got Arsenal in game week 5, but that's at home. And they did beat Arsenal last year 1-0.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And it's a pre-season under Sean Dyche as well.
Yeah, that's the other reason as well. I was thinking maybe they've strengthened up defensively under Dyche, possibly.
They haven't bought anyone per se. They bought in Ashley Young, but Ashley Young's our age,
Yeah.
so it's not a huge thing. He will bring experience, and it'll be a different way of playing. Yeah, Ashley Young will feel like Matt Lowton, so he probably won't get a huge amount of returns, but there will be 1 week where he'll get 17, 18 points. The other one is Jared Brandwaite, who's back from PSV Eindhoven, and he has looked really good in pre-season, and so he would be quite a good outside punt if you're not going with the Everton keepers. Have Brandwaite as your 4.0 option on the bench. So needed, and he might get a clean sheet, and you wouldn't be too worried about not playing him per se. But
No, true.
you'd feel quite lucky if he came off your bench and got you a cleanie.
Yeah.
So
I've gone for the old classic of double up on the same team. Although I don't know if
yeah,
Virginia is actually the main backup.
well, Lonergan is the other one, and he's like 40 odd, so he's kind of like the third
Right.
ultra emergency keeper. So
I picked right then.
I'm
That's good.
yes,
With absolutely no knowledge. I just went,
no knowledge
oh,
whatsoever.
yeah, I'll go that.
That's not to say Andy Lonergan is not a good goalkeeper. He is, but he is very, very, very old now in terms of footballing terms.
Yeah.
And I think he's only played. He didn't play for Everton last year. I think it was the year before when they had a goalkeeper crisis. I think he played like 2-3 games.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if Virginia played last year for Everton. He might have played one, or maybe half of a game or something like that. But
don't remember him, but yeah, maybe.
yeah, they were mostly down in the dumps, so you weren't picking Everton players last year. Let's be honest.
No, true. Yeah. Oh,
So,
apart from the last game of the season when I picked Decore, and
yes, you picked the Corre, and
scored.
obviously there was that brief period where everyone kept picking Tarkovsky, but
yeah, that didn't work out very well though.
no, but essentially with Sean Dyche defenders, if you're not on them when they get their returns, you've probably missed the boat. Like that Matt Lowton week where he got like 26 points. He's never done that again, ever. So,
yeah,
you know, hope for the best that you get it and you can predict it right. If you can, people call you a genius, and you can be smug for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then just know that those returns are never coming again.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you picked John Stones because he can play football.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of picked my team around. So the clean sheets wasn't much, but fixture difficulty I've picked around. So I've got a couple of Arsenal players in there, a couple of Chelsea, a couple of Brighton, obviously the Everton keeper, and I've gone for a couple of Man City. Yeah. The hub actually has Man City down as the 8th on the fixture ticker.
That's because of the Super Cup, right?
Yeah, but it does note that they are predicted to keep the most clean sheets and score the most goals.
So yeah, I
So,
mean, statistically, Man City have or had last season the best defense. They just couldn't keep clean sheets. They'd let like a silly goal in.
yeah, which I'm worried they're going to do this year as well. And they always start slow as well.
They'll probably start slow. I think they'll keep more clean sheets this year. They got Vardiol, who's a quality defender. I imagine he won't start game week 1 though, because they only confirmed him like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But it also depends how they rotate for the Super Cup. That would be my only pressing concern, because I think they've got Burnley.
When is the
And then I
Super
can't
Cup
remember.
then? So they're playing
I
Burnley
think
first.
they're playing Burnley first, but I can't remember if it's midweek next week or midweek after game week 2.
Okay.
I probably should check, but yeah, that's why it makes all of their midfielders again one of those sort of risky business of rotation.
Yeah.
You go, oh yeah, I'll pick this midfielder, and you go, oh bollocks, he's on the bench. So
Yep.
yeah, there is quite a lot of concern around that. There is with the defenders now as well, to be honest, because John Stones is not going to play. I don't think he's going to play the inverted fullback role this season, because
Maybe
Vardiol can
not.
do it better. Vardiol plays as a fullback, and he's better at getting forward and attacking from centre back. So I imagine once he's in the team, he'd be more likely the one to fulfil that role, and Stones would be an actual centre back.
Yeah, which isn't as good. And then that
No,
probably means Stones doesn't play. So
no.
that'd
Well,
be good.
he possibly would play, but at the expense of someone else, or he doesn't. And yeah, Carl Walker plays with God, who's the back line for that?
Akanji?
Diaz,
Diaz?
Diaz,
Okay.
Kanji somewhere, Ake somewhere. Yeah, it's literally it'll be. That's going to be another issue with Man City. Even though Vardiol cost, what was it, nearly 100 million euros, that still doesn't mean he'll play week in, week out. So
Cancelo's back there now, I think, as well. But
Cancelo, I don't think he'll be there by the end of the
I don't think,
window.
don't think he's going to play.
Barcelona are pushing to sign him, so
Yeah,
and they've
because
made it quite clear.
when I created my team and hit random, it put Cancelo in, and I was like, oh. But I was like, well, he's not playing, so change that. But yeah.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have recommended Cancelo anyway. He's too expensive, to be honest, at 6.
Yeah.
Especially as we had him last season, and he was what 7.5 last season, and he was absolutely dreadful.
Yep. It was good that he left actually, because it freed up some funds, which is quite nice. And it got rid of that burden of having him, because you're like, oh, he could do good.
Well, I mean, it depends. It's a burden in the sense of, well, last season, yeah. This season, it would probably be a burden in the sense of you couldn't move up from that price point at 6 million defender, but you could move down to almost everyone. There's not many that are over 6, right? I think most of the Liverpool backline are over 6 or 6.
Yeah, well,
That's it, right?
Trent's 8, isn't he?
Yeah, Robertson's 6'5", and I
Yeah.
think Virgil van Dijk's 6.
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, that would be the only reason to have Cancelo, because he's a good price point if he was playing, which he's not. So this is all nonsensical. So yeah, and Saliba over everyone else because is he more expensive than Gabriel, or is he less?
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, Gabriel seems to be the choice, but I don't know. I just prefer Saliba. But
I mean, and it's a Gabriel song title thing
true.
for your name, and you haven't even picked him. I mean, that's outrageous.
True. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, maybe I should switch to Gabriel just for that point. Yeah.
Yeah. It might lure Gaz back. He sees that and like, oh fucking hell, I've got to get back here.
Yeah, actually, one of
So,
the other things I spotted on the the hub was they picked an AI team for game week 1, and
Yes.
I've got 6 players that match it, and actually they've got Gabriel in there instead of Saliba, so technically 7. If you kind of
Yes.
say they probably get the same amount of points, but
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I've got a rough idea who most of the template picks are at this point,
yeah, I'd
although
say
they have been changing.
I'm probably quite template my team, which
The back
doesn't bother me, but
3 of the back 4 are
yep.
Saka is, Matoma is. Salah's only owned by about 30% of the league, so that's not. Haaland definitely is, and
I think
then
Fernandez is as
Jackson.
well, isn't
He might be.
he?
I haven't
Yeah.
checked Fernandez because he didn't really come into my train of thought.
Hmm.
Um, but it wouldn't surprise me because he's on penalties and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Fernandez is owned by 27% of the league, so that's quite a lot. Although Marcus Rashford owned by nearly 50%, and you don't have him.
I would have maybe preferred Rashford, but I couldn't afford him.
You couldn't afford him.
Fernandez is
Based,
0.5 cheaper, so
yeah.
yeah. I mean, this team is bang on 100 million, so I've got no wiggle room.
No. But at the same time, you probably, with the ones you've picked, they're going to start game week 1,
Hmm.
and injury permitting, they would all start game week 2.
Yeah.
All right, maybe the Man City ones won't, depending on the Super Cup. But you'd imagine Haaland will get some minutes. Stones would be the only real worry.
Hmm. Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, you should be fine. If not, bring Emerson in from the cold.
Yeah, could do. I mean, Emerson's up there. He's had a good pre-season. He's got 1 goal, 3 assists.
Yeah,
So
he's all right. I mean, it's just
it's
West Ham.
yeah, I
Hmm?
wouldn't be pressing to start him, but good to have on the
No,
bench.
is he
4.5 mil.
four? Oh, is he 4.5? So he's gone up 0.5.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I think 4.5. Pretty sure he is.
Yeah.
So
Oh, don't miss out. But no, I mean, I'm not going to criticize as a West Ham defender because I've got 2 of them in mind. So
yeah. We should probably get on to yours in a minute then. But
no, yeah,
it's
you still got your Brighton players to get through. Your Fernandez, your captaincy choice, which is going to be a bit controversial.
yeah, well, Haaland, but Man City play on Friday, and I don't like that.
No.
So I thought, oh yeah, captaincy. So yeah, don't know. Saka feels okay.
Yes, Saturday afternoon
Yeah,
job.
yeah. At home to Forest. Yeah, could be okay. So and yeah,
Well,
Saka's had a good pre-season as well. 2 goals, 3 assists.
Forest have
So
been leaking goals for fun during pre-season.
mm,
I mean, not even for fun. I mean, I imagine it hasn't been fun conceding that many goals
yeah.
during pre-season. I mean, they just signed Matt Turner from Arsenal.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So, but yeah, Nottingham Forest's last 2 friendlies, they drew 0-0 with Frankfurt on Saturday, and a few days before that, they lost 5-0 to Stade Rennais. So that's not great in terms of
Yeah.
preparation. And before that, they lost to PSV and they lost to Leeds United. So
Ooh.
it's quite a lot of losing. That doesn't necessarily a reflection of them being bad, because there's loads of clubs over the years that have lost most of their pre-season friendlies and just treated them as a way to get fit.
Yep.
But my concern with Forest is they needed a goalkeeper and they literally have just signed him today, like 2-3 days before the season starts. So he's going to have no time to get prepared
Hmm.
with any of the rest of the squad or any of the tactics. They're literally just going to chuck him in at the deep end. So
Maybe straight up against Soul Club,
yeah,
which
that'd be
yeah
interesting, right?
could go either way. He could have an absolute blinder and keep us out because he knows all the
It would
players
be
quite well.
genuinely funny if he manages to keep a clean sheet, considering everything stacked against him.
Yeah.
I would have thought they might give it to Wayne Hennessy to start, but you never know.
Hmm.
Um, And then it's that's the one where it looks like there'll be most goals, but it wouldn't be surprising if it dragged up a 0-0. I think they were saying that about the Wolves game as well. Now that Gary O'Neill's there, Man United are heavily back to win that one, but you wouldn't be shocked now if Wolves went and won it 1-0 as the opening day shock.
Yeah, I think that's the Monday night one, Man U
Yes,
game.
it is.
Yeah.
Lovely little Monday night football, 1-0 to 1-0 to the old Wolves, who everyone have got in or around being relegated.
Yep. But
There's
dunno,
very
could
little
all change.
confidence in Wolves this year with most people. They're just like, yep, they've sold most of their good players. They're broke. They still need to sell more players. Yeah, relegation.
Their pre-season
You
has
know,
been alright though. Like I said, four
yeah,
clean sheets in their pre-season, and
it looked great. If Lopetegui was the manager there, I would think they will be okay.
yeah.
But because he's not, and they've changed their manager 3 days before the season kicked off, you have to go, nah, that's not great, is it? Because it means that all of that preseason preparation has amounted to nothing apart from fitness. Because Gary O'Neill's going to have a different way of playing, a different style. He's going to have different tactics, and undoubtedly he'll want different players that will either come in or leave. So anyone that looked good for Wolves, and you went, oh yeah, Kuna looks quite good, and then he doesn't play a single minute again because Gary O'Neill's nah, fuck it, I'll go with a more conventional forward. Yeah, so you're genuinely just looking at it and going, no idea if this is good or bad. It doesn't seem good for me though.
Yeah.
So, and that's a shame because Kuna and Fabio Silva were looking quite good as outside punts for like a maybe not your second striker slot, possibly though, or maybe your third striker slot. 5.5, both of them. It's a good price. No one's expecting Wolves to get much, so you can have them as your bench one, or just have them as your pump pick. So you'd
Not
have like a
not for me, because one of my FPL rules is don't ever have Wolves attackers. So
which is funny because you're the one who's champion of how well they've been doing in pre-season.
clean sheets.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I've learned my lesson. You don't have Wolves attackers. Never ever have Wolves attackers.
Yeah, get some Wolves attackers in, boys.
Yeah. So no.
That's a shame.
So because I think Cunha got 3 goals.
Yeah, he's
Kind of
playing. I think he's
pre-season.
playing up
So
top, right?
he
So,
could have been on my table on the right, but I think I cut him off because I was like, nope, Wolves. So yeah.
but that's just Wolves bias from you. That's unacceptable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm not having
Like I
that.
said, there's potentially players missing from that right hand side that I've taken out just through bias. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like Tottenham players.
Kane's on there, isn't he? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just Kane because he got 4 in one game. It's
That's
not even
not.
the
It's
amount
not
of
my
goals he
fault.
got.
Many Tottenham players haven't made the cut. I
What are you
don't.
fucking talking about? Kane scored more than that.
He did score. I think he scored 5. I think. Yeah. I think that's how I done
No,
it.
he's on more than that. He's on 6.
Is
And
it?
Richarlison got a hat trick in one game.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I've got that. Yeah, but I think he's too low down. He didn't make the.
Oh, he's too low down, isn't he?
Yeah, he didn't make the
Just
cut with
like Wolves
Charlison.
players. You're like, yeah, I don't want him. Get him out.
Yeah, Richarlison. Oh, Richarlison just missed out. He's under Isaac, so he is on. Out of my point system, he's on 6, so he's just under Isaac. Richarlison.
Okay,
There you
that's
go.
lucky.
Yeah, but I think I did. Yeah, that's the top 20 in my list. So yeah, Richarlison was 21.
And you never know if Kane goes, he won't be number 21 anymore. He'll be your number 1, right? So
Yeah,
because
I did.
£7 million midfielder playing as a striker.
Initially, I quite fancied Richarlison in my team, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. He's a bit of an iffy one with whether he starts or not. So that's what worries me.
Well, he didn't start He started the last friendly we had, which was yesterday, but he didn't start the one where all of the first teamers played, which is Shakhtar on Sunday. He wasn't bad yesterday. We did all right, actually. I mean, we played a B team against Barcelona's A team, and we were doing really quite well against them for quite some time.
Oh, yeah,
We
that's
ended
why
up
I've missed
losing
out.
4-2.
So I take it Kane scored yesterday, right?
No, Kane didn't play yesterday. He didn't even travel.
Ah, there you go.
Yesterday's team had Richarlison up front, Solomon in attack with, oh God, who else? Lo Celso, Perisic played in attack. God knows why. Yeah, and Porro, Region played, and he was dreadful. Dyer played at the back, and he was bad. Davison Sanchez played, and he was quite good. The only player who played on Sunday that played or started Sunday, who started Tuesday, was Vicario to help with his confidence. Still looked a bit wobbly, but I'm sure he'll get there as long as we don't basically dump on him straight away, which we can't because we haven't got another keeper option. So hopefully that should work in his favour, but you never know, it might not. Yeah. But if Kane goes, and there's persistent rumours that Bayern Munich were in discussions all last night with Tottenham about a new bid, then Richarlison would be an idea or an option, I think.
Yeah.
And then Spurs go to the immediate underdogs in terms of finishing anywhere in the top 8 if they lose Kane.
Oh yeah, if you lose Kane, then yeah,
There's lots of rumours swirling and things. So
I think he stays. I can't see him going now.
I don't know. I mean, he's made it quite clear if something isn't agreed by the time the first game starts,
Mm-hmm.
then he won't move. So they've literally got what, tonight, and that's it. Because tomorrow's Thursday, and by then you've got to take a monumental last minute bid of just chucking money at something and going, here, please, you know. So, and it's quite funny because there's some rumors in some of the circles I'm traveling in about the reason James Maddison hasn't picked his squad number yet for Tottenham is because 10 might come available. Because he still doesn't have a squad number yet for Tottenham. Which is genuinely frustrating because it means I can't get a Maddison shirt.
No.
But at the same time, it is quite funny as well. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I mean, the rest of yours are fairly template apart from Jackson. Although I imagine he's getting template now, right?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, he's another one. Good pre-season.
Yes, he had a very good pre-season.
Yeah, and I like Chelsea's fixtures. Obviously, the opening one against Liverpool is tough on paper, but they are at home for that one.
15% of the league, which is not a lot. But yeah, they are at home for that one. You're right. And then after that, it's not a bad fixture run until like game week 9.
Yeah, they're second on the fixture ticker on the hub because they've got Luton and Forest in the first few games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Luton and Forest.
And there's no real competition because Lukaku's not been given a squad number.
No.
And Bro's still injured, and Nkunku's out for 16 weeks. So smooth sailing.
Could be good. I think he's alright. 7 million as well. Could be good.
He's definitely an option.
Yeah.
I mean, bearing in mind Hudson-Odoi is about to leave as well, and he probably would play out there. Ziyech is going too. So yeah, that team's about to get a lot more sort of reasonable. They're not going to have like 38 players to pick from, so you should be able to pick a player and be reasonably comfortable especially in Chelsea's sake, that they're going to be slightly rotation proof because they don't have any Europe. So that's another good reason for Jackson. He's only got one game a week, whereas a lot of obviously the trials and tribulations with Man City picking is always is he a Champions League player like Mahrez used to be, or is he actual league player? which we don't know what Bernardo Silva is yet, because I quite like the idea of having him for the start of the season. But yeah, you never know, right?
No.
So
Yeah.
any last minute changes? Any new plans? Because you've got a template sort of front line.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think I'm happy with that. Like I said, I did one draft that was more balanced because I didn't have Salah. I think I had Trent in instead of Salah, and it was a bit more balanced. I think I had Darwin up front.
Yes.
And then I switched to this because I wanted Salah in the start lineup. Managed to get this team out of near enough this team. And then yesterday, I kind of went through it again and I kind of did a reset. I took all the players out and then put the players back in again. And it ended up that the only change I made was I took a doggy out,
A doggy.
a doggy, and I put Emerson in. And that was literally the only change I made. And then I went, oh, well, clearly I'm pretty set on the team because I've literally
Yeah.
redone it again and got the exactly same team. So,
Mr. Confidence.
yeah. I mean, it's all going to go wrong, obviously, but there's going to be
Always
plenty of
goes wrong,
players that I'm
probably.
like, oh, I should have had them, like Eze and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm happy with it, and I don't think it's going to change. The only thing that make it change now is if someone gets injured or we hear some news that someone's not playing or something like that.
I mean, there is a chance for. I mean, the one I'm tentatively, I guess, is Brentford because Mbuemo is injured, and so is Rico Henry. So
I like the idea of Wissa because Wissa's playing up front.
yes,
Yeah, I did like
but
that.
Visa used to be. He never would get a full 90 for Brentford ever.
Mm. But with no Tony, yeah. And Bremo is injured, but I think it's only like a dead leg or something like that. I heard,
Yeah,
so he's probably gonna play.
hope so.
I think they only took him
Oh,
off as a precaution. So
yeah, I think the same with Henry, right? I think he only had like a
mm,
sort of knock dead leg.
mm.
Um, I'm sorry, I've just seen that Max Aaron's is joining Bournemouth allegedly. They've just hijacked the deal over in the last minute from Leeds, so
Mm.
Max Aaron's might become an option as well because I like Max Aaron.
Mm.
He's a good fullback.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I always get sort of preoccupied, but I guess no other Palace players, even though Sheffield United are in disarray. No other United players because Wolves are in disarray.
Yeah, I wanted Eze, but I just couldn't fit him in. So yeah, no. Man U, I thought about Anthony being in.
Yeah,
But I'm just gonna stick with the safe pick of Fernandez, I think.
that makes sense. Um, the other one that might get a nod, although we won't know obviously because the Man United game's on Monday. Garnacho, everyone thinks he's going to start actually on Monday due
Mm.
to injuries and whatnot. So that would be a good outside punt for everyone.
Mm.
Um, apparently Chelsea have just made Reece James their captain as well. Not that that makes him any better option.
Nah, I'm sticking with Chilwell for the moment.
I don't think that solves his injury problems. It just means you better have a vice captain who's readily available.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Oh, I mean, it's good to see you're set because
Yeah.
mine's not.
No, well,
Mine's about to get a bit more
should probably move on.
manic.
Um, yeah, so you've sent me your team.
I sent you our team. Yeah, so
Our
that's the
team.
team that was a team I did. So FPL started early July. I did an auto pick team to get a low team number, and someone asked me, "Why do you do that? Is it because you want to have like a low team number to be one of the cool kids?" And I was like, "No, it's because I'm really old, and having a low team number means it's easier to find on live FPL." So
True.
my, instead of having like 8,700,000 and blah 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 blah. My team number is relatively easy that I can eventually learn it. So then when I'm on live FPL or something, I can just type in 5 digits. I think
Mine's going to be
mine's yeah,
massive. Mine's going to be in the millions.
mine's in the 20k range. So I only remember 5 digits, which I'm happy enough with that. I can remember that. Click 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 click. Done. Job. Find out my live results and predictions, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then I did a proper draft about 6 weeks ago, just before the American game started, where all the Premier League teams went out there, like Fulham, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Brentford. And there was another team out there, I'm sure of it. Yeah, and this is the team I ended up with, so I'll run through it quickly, and then you'll spot some of the glaring problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got Fabianski in goal, Estepinian, Shaw, Gabriel, Salah, Son, Saka, Sterling, Kluivert. I've got Haaland, who's currently my captain, and then João Pedro. And then on the bench, I've got Areola, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Amari Bell, and Rico Henry. So yeah, not really. I mean,
Just trying to
the
get
only
my head around how you've managed to get Salah, Haaland, Son, Saka, and Sterling in. But I guess
that's because I'm a legend.
Sterling's price has gone down a bit.
Sterling is 7, Saka is 8.5, Son's 9, and I've got a reasonably budget efficient defense. So whereas you've got Shaw and Chilwell, who are both 5.5, I've got
Chilwell and Stones.
Sorry, Stone. Sorry, Shaw's my most expensive defender at 5.5. The other two are 5. Then down to 4.5 with Henry, and in 4 with Bell. And in my forward line, João Pedro is only 5.5, and Calvert-Lewin is 6.
Yeah.
Now I had João Pedro when I selected him. He was owned by less than 1%.
Yeah, he's a popular pick
and now, yes, he's very popular due to injuries and the fact that he's been taking penalties for Brighton. He's up to 14% ownership, which is not high, but it's high enough that I'm sure that number will climb in the next couple of days. The reason I liked him is because I remember him at Watford. He's very, very good on the left, and he's also good down the middle. I know everyone keeps going, oh, well, Matoma's absolutely safe. He won't lose his spot. He could lose it to Pedro with Welbeck playing down the middle. And I'm pretty sure that's what some of the formations were during the pre-season games. Danny Welbeck would be the other option that I'd go for, but I think he's 6'5". Let's have a double check of that. Yeah, no, Danny Welbeck's 6. Everyone else was going for Nathan Ferguson to start with at 6, and I was just like, he didn't really complete 90 minutes that many times.
No, I do like Ferguson, yeah, but
Ferguson sounds great on paper, but João Pedro's played more than him.
Yeah, he might be one to keep an eye on, Ferguson.
He'd keep an eye on, or he might end up playing the Europa League for him, which is great for him.
Yeah,
bad for us.
Yep,
because he's 0.5 more than Pedro and just a non-star. And as I mentioned to you the other day, including the midfielders and the attackers now, Brighton have got, I think it's 11 players to fit in like 3-4 spots. It's a lot of players. And De Zerbi's not afraid to make substitutions, and he's not afraid to just completely start different players whenever he wants. And he made it quite clear with fixture congestion last season. He made it quite clear Matoma couldn't play 3 games in a week because he wasn't fit enough. So that would be my concern around players like that. So my train of thought was, I know what João Pedro's like. I think he's a good player. And he's 5'5". Would I be that angry if he come off the bench? I mean, I'd be a little peeved, but not as much as if I had a 6.5 like Matoma in midfield, taking up a really good midfield slot, and he doesn't play, or he gets hooked after 50. So that's my train of thought. Plus, yeah, I was starting Calvert-Lewin over João Pedro until Calvert-Lewin got injured.
Typical.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Calvert-Lewin is now gone from my team because Everton are signing 2 new attackers, and I just don't know if he's going to stay fit. If he does, though, with Everton's good run of fixtures, they're not going to score a lot, but he would be my pick. Especially as I've gone for the double West Ham defence, which was looking ropey because I think they lost 4-0 the other day, West Ham. But they're about to sign Harry Maguire and James Ward-Prowse, which completely turns that team around in terms of being more stable defensively. And I like that. So I think I'll keep those 2 keepers for now because I'm not playing in bench boost anytime soon. So I'd rather just keep 2 from the same team. I don't have to rotate. I normally like to rotate 4.5s, but I'll keep ballsing it up, and I'll just make myself furious that I keep missing out on clean sheets. And when I checked Fabianski versus Pickford last season's stats and points wise, Fabianski played, I think it was 200 minutes less than Pickford, and I think he scored like 6 points less. So I'll take that. Do you know what I mean? That's West Ham basically face a lot of shots because that defense has been a bit ropey. And I know a lot of people are making fun of him, going, "Oh, well, Harry Maguire, he's shit." And you're like, he's not.
No.
He's just not. His confidence has gone. I mean, he's still in the England side, right? There is a reason he still plays for England every time that it comes to international. So
he's not as bad as everyone makes out.
No, and in a West Ham team where you'd have David Moyes as his coach and a bit more confidence, new surroundings, and he would be first choice again week in, week out.
Yeah,
he might be the same sort of player that Man United paid Leicester like 80 million for. So yeah, I think I'll stick with the West Ham goalkeepers for now, and obviously just be calling myself an idiot in 3 weeks' time, most likely. Most of my team is template to a degree. I mean, Haaland is, Saka is, Estepinian is, Gabriel is. Shaw is kind of on the fence. Not a lot of people are buying Shaw now because they're going for Onana instead because they think he'll get the bonus points because he's a sweeper, passing keeper. But as far as I'm concerned, Luke Shaw's got a higher probability of getting an assist. I mean, I know Onana can definitely get assists, but I'll stick with Shaw. There was a reason he was great last season under Ten Hag, so I'll stick with him for Man United's first few opening fixtures. And then my midfield goes a bit wonky donkey, really, because Salah's only owned by about 30% of the league. And
it's an interesting one. I imagine it go up.
I did Salah. He will go up. I did the draft before. Like I said, I did it like 6 weeks ago. So he hadn't even scored lots of goals and got lots of assists. Now he's getting lots of goals and assists. People are starting to sort of panic a bit and they're going, "Oh shit, I'm going to go about Mo Salah."
Yeah. I did read another good stat about him that since Liverpool changed their formation last season, no other players recorded more points than Salah.
There you go.
And his XG and stuff went up significantly since then. So
that midfield, since they signed a couple of new players there in terms of McAllister and Szoboszlai, Jesus, I've probably butchered that. Sorry.
I think so.
Yeah, and then they might get Lavia in as well. That's a significantly younger midfielder than they had. I mean, Henderson was 32, 33. Fabinho was 30. And you're talking about the average age of the 3 players they just bought is under 25. So I think Liverpool will be a lot better than people realise. I think that just because Liverpool haven't been keeping a lot of clean sheets in pre-season, that everyone's looking at them going, "Oh, they're going to be same old Liverpool again, aren't they? They're not going to keep clean sheets." And you're like, "Yeah, they might not, but they definitely are going to score a shitload of goals still."
Don't need clean sheets if you outscore the opposition. So
exactly that is the Postecoglou way of life, and that is why I'm going to be going all in on Tottenham shortly. So yeah, Salah just seemed like a no-brainer to me. And then Saka I wanted as soon as I saw his price, regardless. And then the other 3 midfielders are a bit left field. So I went for Sterling because I know what Pochettino did with Neymar when he was at PSG from the left, and I was thinking if you could do that with Sterling, Sterling's in for a season of just goals galore.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the difference with PSG is Neymar had Mbappe as well, whereas Sterling right now might have Broja. So that's a slightly different scenario. But Chelsea are not finished with money yet, and so they might buy Vlahovic, I think, for in exchange for Lukaku, which means that Jackson's minutes might get slightly reduced, but Sterling should stay fairly high. So I think for a gamble, he might be okay. I haven't ruled out changing him though. Son had surgery over the summer. No one knew. He had a hernia problem all last season, he said, and for nearly 9 months, 10 months. He said
Might
he was
explain why
basically.
you was not that good last year then.
Well, he looked so bad. He looked off the pace. He looked like he couldn't turn. He said he had these hernia was so bad he couldn't do full turns on the ball without it being in extreme pain. And you're like, wow. And we made him play for like 9 months of that, and he played for the international team like that. So he's had surgery. He didn't play the internationals over the summer either. He's come back. He hasn't set the world on fire in terms of goals and assists, but that means nothing to me in terms of preseason. I think he's ready to go wild. And Brentford are weaker down their right than they are their left, so that would mean ample opportunity for Son to get some good stuff. And then Kluivert, I wanted Justin Kluivert because he's good. He is good. He's very patchy and very streaky. But then I've been checking Bournemouth recently, and he's not been starting. He's been coming off the bench. So I'm going to have to change that. And of course, like yourself, I've got no money left over. So Kluivert's only 5 mil, so that's an issue. So I've sold Calvert-Lewin down to West Ham's attacker. I can't remember his name. It is Mubama.
Are you gonna show us what you're doing? Are we gonna do
Can do you
live
can do it.
transfers?
I'm looking at it as I'm saying it. So I've got the only transfer I've made so far is Calvert to Mubama, and then so I've got 1.5 million in the bank, and I need to decide what I want to do. Do I want triple Brighton? I don't know, but I could go. The one thing I did like the idea of, because I don't have a lot of Man City cover, I could do Cliver out, which gives me 6.5, and
You
then I could
realise
go
you
to
have
Man.
to share your screen if we're gonna see it.
Oh, if I'm not sharing it again,
No.
sorry. Share screen. Share. There we go. So yeah, 6.5. Go to Man City. I could bring in straight away Bernardo Silva. That would be quite a good 3-5-2 still, and then obviously Bernardo's fixtures are not bad. They're Burnley, Newcastle, and Sheffield United. But is Bernardo going to play every week? Probably not, right? So I'm sort of lost in a mire really what I should do, because I could come here, I could come to Brighton, I could gamble and get in CISO.
Oh, I like it in
That gives me a
CISO.
million. Yeah.
I quite
But
fancy
then
having in CISO in, but
I got triple Brighton, which I don't like. Um and then I'd make some changes elsewhere. I mean, if I went for Enciso, I probably no, I don't think I would get rid of Estepinian because he's got 2 good 3 opening fixtures. But I would probably get rid of Bell, go to Tottenham. I want Destiny Adogi without doubt. So that's that. And then if I just had a look what that team looks like with 0.5 in the bank, so my bench would actually be reasonably solid because I've
yeah, it
got
does.
2 really good thingy.
Mubama probably not gonna play much, I'm guessing.
He's played most of West Ham's
Really?
preseason games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see they might sell Antonio. So
Well, they sold Skamaka the other day. Antonio was away with Jamaica. I think he played his first game the other day when they lost 4-0. And then that leaves just Danny Ings. And Danny Ings has not set the world on fire. So Mbama's been getting. I mean, if he's going to be my bench 3 option anyway, then it doesn't really matter, right? As long as he gets some minutes if I ever needed it, which I'm thankfully, fingers crossed, wouldn't need it in the early days. I normally pick a 4.5 striker that gets loaned out or sold somewhere anyway, right? So this is me all over in terms of picks. Yeah, so then I've got 0.5 left. I could do Sterling to someone else. I really do fancy getting another Arsenal player in, but I don't know who. It would be, I mean, to free money up, the
See,
insane.
Havertz is maybe a good choice. He played up front in
He
the
played up
Community
front,
Shield.
but I don't think what I mean,
But
this
then does he
is if
play
I was
Nketiah? And then if Nketiah plays, that would be a good choice.
this would be the other thing I did, right? So I'd lose Haaland completely and have no Man City to start.
Mm.
That leaves me 2 million. I'd go Sterling. I'd lose Sterling. I'd bring in Arsenal. I'd bring in Martinelli, and then I'd lose Son. Go to Manchester United. I'd bring in Rashford. So then I've got 1 million spare,
Mm.
and then I could lose in CISO and then pump him up to someone slightly more reasonable and template. Because if I'm going without Haaland, you've got to have some templates in there because I'm clearly a lunatic. And then that would be my team. And then I would just captain, probably just for the, because I like punishing myself. I'd captain Rashford.
Not bad. At least it's Monday. Last game.
Yeah,
It's always
and
nice.
then I've got a reasonably good bench options if anything didn't come to fruition in terms of starting players. So that's my other option. Ridiculously now because I've made those transfers, I can't do it all because I'm doing this live. So I don't know what I'm doing yet. I've got a rough idea. Luton's kind of fucked me over as well because I like the idea of having a 4 million defender, but they're not playing in game week 2, right? So
No,
that's
Burnley and Luton not playing because I think it's to do with Luton's ground. It's not ready.
it's not ready.
Yeah.
So that kind of, I mean, it's great if you can have them and keep hold of them
I wonder
because
if that's
then
going to cause any more headaches going forward. I don't know.
if it's not done in time, I mean, they've got
Yeah.
until the 1st of September, right? So they've got another 3 weeks to get
Yeah.
that ready.
Yeah.
And then if they don't make it by then, we've got an international break clearly between 4 and 5.
Mm.
So they don't play at home until the end of September. So they'd have about 8 weeks. So you might see the West Ham game called off as well.
Mm.
And then that kind of makes West Ham options a bit. I mean, that'd fuck me over with my double West Ham keeper. So maybe that is
Oh,
worth considering.
yeah. That is always the danger of having the two goalies from the same team. I think, yeah. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Luton having an old school style ground is making things slightly difficult to
Yeah.
plan for.
Yeah. I
So
mean, to have a
yeah,
blank game week in game week 2 is just ridiculous.
it's like a couple of years back when we had 4 teams blank in game week 1, wasn't it? So
Oh, God, yeah.
it was Man United, Burnley again, and 2 others, and then you and Gaz wildcarded in game week 2 to make it work.
Yeah. Why was that? I can't even remember why that was.
I can't remember. It was something or other. Was it to do with? It might be to do with qualifiers, right? Man United and Man City weren't there, so it must have been it.
Yeah. Or
Club World Cup,
was it, yeah, maybe the Club World Cup. Was it
something
two
like that.
English teams, in it? Because didn't we win the Champions League and the Europa? The
Yeah.
two
Oh,
English
it
teams
might
won
be.
it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it might be in the Super Cup or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I think yeah. Yeah. I can't remember.
I can't remember. It wasn't that long ago, but that's how good my memory is. Um. So yeah, if I go back to Haaland, I lose a Dogie. I don't really want to lose a Dogie, so I may actually let's restore. Luke Shaw's the problem as well. And now I see why people are doing it because if you lose Shaw and then say, for example, I lost Fabianski, I could go to Man United, bring in Anana, and then I've got 10 million to sort 2 positions out, and
Which is
I've got
doable.
4 reasonable defenders there. I don't think there's a 4.5 million defender for United that's going to work. So you would skip that completely. I would probably see myself back at Luton and get Cabore because he was great last season in France. So then that gives you 6 million in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
And then to midfield, who are an underdog that I quite like? Oh, I don't know. I really want more Tottenham. That's the thing. I'm just trying to make space for Tottenham.
So a Tottenham
So
midfielder for 6.
there is not. I could get Madison instead of Martinelli. So I've only got 2 Arsenal. I'd have 2 Tottenham, and I have 6-5 for the midfield again. 6-5 means you can go here, 6-5. I mean, I'm not against going for Gross. Eze's fine but then their next game's Arsenal, so I don't fancy it. Whereas if you go for Matoma, even though it's like 40%, it is a decent, like Luton. You don't know what you're getting. And Wolves are a bit over the thingy. At the same time as well, Brighton are very, very attacking. So there you go, making a keeper change, which means I start with Anana, bring Kabore out, Adogi, and then I'd still probably keep. No, I'd probably cave because I fucked my team up last year not doing that. So then I'm running with triple Brighton. So that's another option. I just don't like the idea of running with triple players from anyone to start the season
Yeah, I
because
don't.
it's
I've tried to keep it down to only 2 per team.
2. And the thing is, I don't want to lose João Pedro. So that's kind of making things a bit of a nightmare. But at the same time, he is an enabler because he's 5-5. So it's what Tottenham players do I want and what Man United players do I want? Because if I want Rashford, I can't have Son. And if I want Son, I can't have another Tottenham midfielder realistically. And then I definitely want a Dogi. So I mean, Adogi and Son would probably be my choice because they both run down the left, and that's where I think where most of our attacking is going to come from because it was in pre-season. So yeah. So let's do quickly. Let's do a team that I would see. Salah's the only other. That's why most people are going about Salah because if you go about him,
Oh, yeah,
say
it makes it a lot easier. Yeah,
your life's an absolute
yeah,
cakewalk. You can
yeah.
drop Salah. Look, I can have Son in, and then I've got 11 million to do something with that final slot, but I'll upgrade everywhere else as well. So let's go. I still want someone from Liverpool just to be safe, which would
I
be
mean, a lot of the Liverpool players have been in hot form, so Jota's a good choice. Diaz.
yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people are
And
going Darwin, aren't they, up front? But that's a bit of a dodgy one. Don't know if he starts. Yeah, but the
no,
same with
he's the
Jota.
only.
That's the problem with Jota as well. I don't know if Jota starts.
Yeah, that's another issue. Lose Kabore. You could do Man United. Where am I? Man United. I could go short. Let's lose Anana and just say West Ham are going to be fine. Let's do Fabianski. I don't want doubles. So I got 9 million essentially for one more slot, which means I can do what I wanted to, which admittedly, as much as I was just saying, I don't want 3 from one team. There is a team I'm gambling on. It is going to be Arsenal. So there you go. Confirmed transfers. That gives me 1 million still in the bank. No Salah, but I've now got Son, Rashford, Saka, Diaz, and Martinelli. That is a midfield that you go, yeah, that's shit up. And
Yeah.
Adogi out, save your team. And I've got a reasonably strong bench. So I might do it. But then I did this last year. I'm sure I did it. I didn't do it without Salah. I did it without Haaland, and I had
Haaland, yeah, you didn't.
Mount, Saka, and I had like midfielders that were like around 8 million, 8.5, and they were shit. And they didn't start strongly. And because they didn't start strongly, they got mass sold, and I lost so much value in Saka and Mount because I held them for weeks and weeks and weeks because you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You're supposed to not fire sell everything and take hits. So Mount ended up going down to like 7.5, lost $500,000 on him. I lost 0.4 on Saka. And then I was in endless amounts of trouble, languishing in like 5 million positions. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. But I definitely want Tottenham players. So maybe I do need to. I'm not set. Is essentially what we're getting from this.
No, you've gone through what, 4 iterations? I think.
4 or 5, and
Yeah.
easily you could say all of them are good.
Yeah.
Even the one without Haaland looked all right,
Yeah.
even though there was no Man City. And the only reason you do that is because Man City have got the Super Cup, so you could go. If it went really badly, I could just wild card in game week 3,
Hmm.
and then they've got Sheffield United, Fulham, West Ham, Forest, Wolves. So I could wild card into 2 Man City, 3 Man City for 5 weeks, and they would be fantastic.
I think the one thing that's making me get Haaland is that Burnley fixture. Because when Burnley was last in there, Man City always battered them. Now
They did,
I know
and
it's a completely different team, but
yeah, it's a different team and it's company, so company knows how Man City play, especially under
yeah.
Guardiola. But yeah, and when I didn't go with Haaland last season because I was the only one being the smart one of the 3 of us because I thought I was, I absolutely got terrorized, and then I was so far behind. It took all season just to get into the top 1 million.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, trying to get off to a good start is key. Last year,
it's
none of us got off to a good start.
no,
So even though I
but
did have Haaland, but still
it was
didn't get off to a
better.
good
Your
start.
start was better than mine. I mean, and that's the thing. Rashford's playing out of position at the moment because Hoyland is injured. So Rashford will start up front for at least those 2. Maybe Nottingham Forest as well. I mean, he's not great up front. I'd prefer him to be on the left, but at least you know he's going to get the majority of the chances, and he's the penalty taker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Son really is the problem because he's unpredictable.
Mm. Yeah, it's a bit of a gamble going for Son, but yeah, he might hit the floor running.
I just like how we're playing right now, and I really want a Tottenham player or 2 in there. Plus, Brentford looked really bad the other week. And
Mm.
Flecken does not look confident. He along with Vicario, both of them look like they need a couple of good solid games to build on confidence to actually settle down. But if they don't, and then they get hammered like 3-0 a couple games in a row, they'll fall to mush. So
Mm.
I mean, and I didn't even check Brentford's goalkeepers actually because he's the bench goalkeeper, Oscar. If he's going to stay there, he's only 4.0, so maybe that's why other people are saying go here.
Oh, yeah.
Flecken.
It's a
So
good 4-5-4-0 option.
it's exactly what I'm doing, right? The only
Yeah.
reason I've now put doubt in my mind is because you said that obviously Luton can't make the ground requirements,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
their next home game is West Ham, so that's me in a bit of a pickle if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, it might be
I mean, if
fine. I
not,
heard it a while ago, so I know that's why that game. Well, at least I think that's why that game is called off.
yeah,
So yeah, it might be fine. It might just be that one, and then they'll be fine. But don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Like I said, West Ham keepers and with their new signings as well. I mean, their fixture run's not great in September, but you just endure. Really, you'll just go, all right. September to early October, out of the 4 fixtures that look nasty, they've got 3 of them are home fixtures. So
Mm-hmm.
Fabianski will make a lot of saves, right?
Yeah.
Or Areola will. Either way, I've got both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only way that will absolutely bone me is if Fabianski makes some saves, goes off after 30, and then Areola comes on and keeps a clean sheet, and he'll be on my bench. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that happened to me last year. It's very annoying.
yes, yeah, Fabianski that happens to because he's he's getting up there. He's our age as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
old Lucas. So he's picking up knocks and niggles like the no tomorrow. So yeah, that's now my team. I don't know whether I'll stick to it. Probably not.
Probably not.
Um,
No, I'm sure that's gonna change.
I think the only reason that it's because I like Salah is because I know he's not going to get benched.
Yeah.
He might go off early. No, it's unlikely in game week 1 he'll go off early, but he's not going to be.
And one of the other things they point out, 'cause they've got Bournemouth second game, and they beat
Yeah.
them 9-0 last year, and that was the one where Salah didn't get anything.
Yes, that's the
So it's
other
like,
thing.
oh, well, Salah might not get anything again. But I don't
But
know.
last time I went with that was a couple of years ago when he played Man United and he
Yeah.
got endless amounts of goals.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are options. I mean, like I said, I like the general gist of my team. I've got 5-5 in midfield now, and there's not a lot. And CISO would be my go-to, I guess. But I'm really gambling with players that are not playing a lot
Mm,
in that position. I mean, I could go for Rodri just to really wind you up.
that would one me out. Yeah.
Like, oh
Wouldn't
yeah,
wouldn't get you many points either, I don't think.
it would not, no. But then that's the story of Rodri, isn't it? Really?
Yep. He won't get any yellow cards, though, I'll tell you that. Because referees don't book him.
That's true.
He'd
I
literally have to
mean,
murder someone on the pitch for him to get a booking.
and even then, he might just get ticked off. Like, don't do that again,
Probably,
please, son.
yeah. That sounds about right.
So yeah, there you go. I think I'll stick with that roughly for now. Um, even though it's clearly not what I just.
I know you got Ayu in there. When did that happen?
I've got Jordan Ayew. Yeah, I just did it just now, just to get Salah back for Son. It's essentially what it comes down to is, do I want a template team?
Hmm.
If I do, then I'm going to be heading more towards this, which is Rashford and Salah. Although Salah's like 23%, so even if I didn't have him, it wouldn't sting me that much,
Mm-hmm.
but it would irritate me because I've always started with him.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, no one's going to have Ayew. Look, fuck me. But I know he's Hodgson's boy. Hodgson plays in come rain or shine. And as we alluded to with your team, they've lost Zaha, lost potentially Elise,
Yeah.
who's injured anyway.
Yeah.
So Jordan Ayew is a half decent pick for at least the first game.
Mm.
Yeah, and I don't really want 3 players, but Arsenal's fixtures for at least the first 3 weeks are fine.
Yeah.
Forest is good. Palace, it can go either way, but you beat them last time at Selhurst 2-0. Fulham don't have a striker that's of any note, and Williams trying to get out of his contract there, so that's another
Mm.
potentially good fixture. And then obviously by the time you get to Man United, I wouldn't be against playing both my midfielders and just benching game week 5. Who have you got in game week 5? They got Newcastle away, so that'd be a bit iffy. Who have you got in game week 5? They've got Fulham, so I'd be, there you go, out, in, save. Who you got in game week 5? But obviously, I would have made some transfers by then. I'm not just going to go, this is it. I'm never going to change things around. But yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
mate, I mean, admittedly, what I have just done here is I've gone completely the thing that I said I didn't want to do, and that was go without any Tottenham players. So,
Yeah. I want Tottenham players. Oh, where are my
yeah, I
Tottenham
want
players
Tottenham players.
gone?
So I've transferred them all out now because I want Martinelli. But yeah, I mean, the other way around it is because I still can't get a bloody shirt number with him. So I just play Madison. Henry is better for game week 2. See, I am doing that really shitty thing where I am looking one eye on future fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do that, get rid of you, get you in, make transfers. I think that leaves me 0.5 in the bank. Job done. Destiny Adogi can go bench 1, although I'd rather start him if I could. But that's a decent setup. And then that gives me 6 million for here. I don't think that gets me to Eze, but it'll get me to somewhere else. Or I just do what you did and play 4-4-2, right? And just
Classic 4 4
Destiny
2.
Adogi. Yeah, 4-4 fucking 2, don't you worry.
Kind of.
So yeah, I essentially it but comes down to, do I want to be template and play safe.
Mm.
Do I want to do what I normally do? Normally, when I have a good season, I pick Tottenham players and I just fucking do whatever I want. Which is, I look at preseason. Do eye test more than statistics for preseason because statistics don't really mean anything.
Yeah, true.
I mean, what was the Aston Villa Brentford game like 3-3 at halftime? So yeah, you can't really buy too much into statistics. Or do I want to try and be smart and pick players that I think will be good early and later, like Bernardo Silva? But something about Man City that we both know they start slowly, so let's
Yeah.
not.
Well, I think everyone knows that. It's just thing, and yeah, they have started slowly in pre-season, and
Always they've not made their transfers. They only signed Vardio yesterday.
yeah,
Paqueta may come in, but that's obviously not a couple of days away. I'll be intrigued to see what happens with Calvin Phillips if they get Paqueta, because I mean they might offer him as a swap option.
mm,
And then you've got a West Ham side that's got Calvin Phillips, Ward-Prowse, and Maguire, and that's an even better
mm,
spine to a team.
yeah,
And that balls up my league predictions, but they'd only need. I mean, if they played Mbama up front with that kind of kind of structure, I might be playing a 4.5 million striker every week.
yeah, maybe.
So yeah, I'll stick it at that for now.
Mm-hmm.
Although it looks hilarious that I've got Jordan Ayew in the team.
Yeah, that is interesting, but yeah.
Everyone else like, yeah, I've got Eze, and I'm like, fuck you, Jordan Ayew. In he comes. He's Roy Hodgson's boy. Oh, and if you didn't know about Gaeta apparently is refusing to play for Palace now. Roy Hodgson did an interview yesterday where he said, yeah, Gaeta refused to play any preseason games. He wants to leave. So,
oh, that's interesting.
yeah. So that makes Johnston guaranteed de facto number one,
Yeah,
which quite a few people are going there as well. But,
I
you know,
better take Gaeta out of my draft watch list then. Not
I
that he
would
was not that
recommend
he was
so.
high up. I don't want
No,
him, but he was in there just in case. So
no, take him out and then I mean, you can always waiver wire players out in the draft league, so that's a different conversation for thingy.
yeah.
I don't think I'm transmitting my team's sheet anymore, so that's fine. But yeah,
No,
so
I have switched back to me now.
good.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But yeah, moving on.
Yeah, because to finish on, I think you mentioned it. League predictions. So I'll put our league predictions up here. Have a
A
little
little prediction.
peruse. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, this year is going to be tough. I think a lot of the big teams have strengthened, and
Well, they're still spending money as we speak.
yeah, there's a lot of transfer activity going on, and yeah, we've got interesting contrasting top fours. So I've
Yeah,
got Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Man U, and you have gone Liverpool to win the league.
yeah,
Man
like last year.
City second, Man U third, and Chelsea fourth.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Although,
Arsenal out of the top four.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly because I don't know how they're going to cope with the rigors of Champions League.
True.
When they had Europa League, they just went, all right, well, we'll just field whoever's second string. We
Yeah,
don't really care. And
yeah.
then they were just genuinely shocked that they got quite far. With the Champions League, I can't see the Arsenal faithful going, oh, who's Arteta playing in the major Champions League match? Oh, he's playing Rob Holding. Are you having a laugh? He's
Uh,
playing Rob Holding in Champions League games, is he? So yeah, so I can see him coming a bit unstuck. You can see that's why they bought Timber, and they've said that your Japanese right back who plays centre back as well.
Tomiyasu.
Oh, God. Tomiyasu, Jesus, I forgot his name then.
Mm.
Um, that's the reason that Arteta said he's still got a future at Arsenal because everyone was speculating that he was going to go
Mm-hmm.
because Ben White and Timber. But I think Rob Holding's the one likely to go because all three of the
Mm.
players that play on the right play centre back better than Rob Holding can. But yeah, so I don't know how Arsenal will deal with the rigors. They've spent 300 million though, so if they did finish fifth, I mean, maybe Arteta would lose his job.
Mm.
Um,
I mean, I've
and
actually
the
been
sad,
optimistic for once. Normally, I have Arsenal outside the top four. but I've gone
Well, you
third.
say that, yeah, but our leagues are all gobbledygook anyway because neither of us got Man City top, even though they probably will
No,
finish top.
yeah, I wanted to
And
put,
then
but then I thought, I'm going to be different. I'm going to go for one different. And I thought Chelsea. I could see Chelsea don't have any European football.
no,
I could. They're going to do a lot better than they did last year. And it would be typical Chelsea to have a rubbish season last year, and then they'll go win the league this year. That is just
possibly.
standard.
That wouldn't surprise me. And then Pochettino gets sacked next year. That's normally what happens.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. It will be.
yeah, I don't know. It was difficult to predict the top 8 because obviously
Yeah,
both of us have got Newcastle nowhere near the top 4, and they're in the Champions League, and they were great last season.
yeah. But that's
So
because they're in the Champions League. I dropped them down. And I'm guessing
again,
maybe the same reason for you, but
yeah, I think the rig is the Champions League, but then they've just signed Livramento to be back
yeah,
up to Trippier. So if Livramento played in the Champions League instead of Trippier, that's great. They got Harvey Barnes, who should be a better signing, hitting the ground running than Anthony Gordon. Although Gordon had a really good pre-season,
hmm.
and they got Sandro Tonali, who's an absolute he's a beast of a midfielder. But
Yeah. So yeah, they might be all right. We might have
yeah,
under.
and my heart says that Tottenham could easily finish third this season. But that just seems like if I say that out loud, it sounds delusional.
We both agreed on that
So,
one. We've both got them sixth. So
yes, which
yeah,
is not a good season,
no,
right?
better than last season. So
It's better than last season, but if you want
improvement.
to convince Harry Kane you're going in the right direction for him to sign a new contract over this season, you don't finish sixth, do you? You need to
No,
finish like second or third.
yeah,
We will be playing a lot better football this season, a
yeah,
lot more attacking, a lot more free flowing. We should finally, for the first time in 3 years, not hear the word pragmatism. Um, and then then there are other teams that you just don't know, like Aston Villa. We've got them fairly low. Brighton, we've got fairly low, but because they've both got European commitments. But
I've got Villa seventh. You've got mate.
yes,
That's
but
I'd
we've
say
both got
that's
Brighton further
fairly
down,
high.
and we've got Brighton ninth. Yet Brighton were the best attacking team in the league last season.
Yeah, but I feel like they've lost some players. There's loads of stuff over Casado and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I still think ninth for Brighton. Ninth's still pretty good, really.
And not really. If they've just got Europe the season before,
Yeah.
they're aiming for Europa League again, right? Aim higher. So there is that going on. I think Brentford I've maybe put slightly too high because Tony's out till January, and
Both got them 10th.
yeah,
We've agreed on a lot. Yeah.
that was the thing when I originally did the picks. Mine was a lot closer to yours than I realized, and I didn't like it.
Mm.
And then I had another think about it, and then I didn't want to go too mad. I didn't want to put Tottenham third because if I put Tottenham third, where was I putting Arsenal? Six, and it was like I don't think Arsenal will finish in six. You know, but then Chelsea have only got one game a week, so they should have a relatively strong season. Um, yeah, and then the only thing I was certain on was the relegation candidates per se.
Yeah, I
Sheffield
mean
United probably,
we've agreed on relegation, but in a completely different order.
yeah. Well, Sheffield United, like I said, sold their best two players in the last 2 weeks, and they've not really signed anything substantial because they've not got the money,
Mm.
and they're under a takeover sort of. Uh, it's not an embargo because obviously they couldn't make signings, but they're kind of in uncertainty, takeover uncertainty. That's the better word. Um, Luton, obviously hardworking, probably will go down. But I'd love it if they didn't and they stayed up like a Blackpool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Wolves, I'm kind of glad I got them where they are now because I was slightly regretting that yesterday or the day before when I sent them to you. And then when I heard Lopetegui's about to leave, I was like, no, they probably will be down there now because they're going to have to change systems, managers, etc., etc. So
Yeah, I prefer your order than mine now.
yes,
Yeah.
and then the only other reason some of the other teams are down there, Burnley 17th. I think they'll be better than all the other newly promoted teams. They've spent more money. They know what they're doing. Company's a really good manager, but it's still a newly promoted team, so you always struggle no matter what.
I've got Burnley 11th.
There you go. You really like Company then, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, I've got Palace in 16th because, as we've gone over, they've sold most of their, or they're about to lose most of their midfield and attacking flair. And I just don't know if they'll be able to. I don't think you're going to see them playing with the kind of zazz that they were playing towards the end of last season under Hodgson, where they were getting like 3-4 goals.
No.
And most of the teams that I've got between 16th and 12th either have no striker or a injury-prone striker or problems in their attack. So Palace, one of those. Fulham, Mitrovic still hasn't left yet. So, and they've not been scoring a lot of goals with him. Well, sorry, without him. And then Willian wants out as well, so that's another problem for Fulham. Everton have got the injury-prone Calvert-Lewin, but they do have potentially two players coming in attack, and they got Dan Juma. Plus, Sean Dyche is reliable for keeping things up. West Ham are 12th for me. That's mostly because they've only got Danny Ings and Antonio, but I think they will finish about there or higher if they do get Maguire and Ward-Prowse over the line.
Yeah.
And then if they got Calvin Phillips in exchange for Paqueta and money as well, that's a really good window. They just need they need a striker. They don't need a striker with flair. They need a striker that plays like Antonio for Moyes. So no point in buying strikers that does all this other stuff like Scamacca does. If he doesn't fit the system, there's no point in buying them. And then Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth will do all right. They've got a good manager. They've just about to sign Max Aarons. They brought in a couple of good players like Justin Kluivert. They were good last season as well towards the end, although that was under Gary O'Neill, obviously.
Yeah.
It's difficult to predict this year.
Yeah. Although it always is. I mean, we never do.
It always is. But I have a rough idea.
Close, but...
No, I mean, 3 or 4 out of 20 is where I normally aim to get. I can't remember I normally usually get every year. It's the same one every year I normally get.
Yeah. I can't remember.
There's one team I used to always get. So it might have been Brighton actually in 16th under Potter.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few things here. It'd be intriguing to see what Gaz does, but whether he gets it in on time, obviously.
Yeah, this was the one thing he said he was looking at, and he'd nearly done it the other day. So
nearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a good chance we'll get his league predictions through, but whether we get anything else, remains to be seen. So yeah,
we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, but there you go.
But yeah, there's that. That's fun. And again, if there's only 2 of us, we might have to find out some other things to bring people on to break up our monotony of bullshit.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we'll do a Christmas special with Big Ken in his dining room.
Could
get a few whiskies in him, and he'll be like, let me tell you about fucking Moyes, eh? He ain't very good. And you're like, yeah, go on, Ken. Go in on him.
I'm sure they'll enjoy that. Yeah.
There you go. You see, 3 of us sitting around at a dining room table, a few whiskies off of work.
Yeah. Mince pies.
You have 4 too many, and then you keep calling him a Man United fan.
Yeah, he is.
See, so
he loves it.
Exactly. So there you go. There are options, but we'll see what happens with Gaz first before we make any.
Yeah, we shall see. But yeah, we should probably wrap it up there.
Yeah, wrap it up, wrap it in. Let me begin.
Oh, I didn't want to do that.
You didn't want to do that. That's where you work. Wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted to do.
It's lucky you didn't accidentally put sponsored by under that, because that would have been worrying. They were like, all right, Russ, what's this you've been doing?
But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Average FPLers. And our mini league code is 5FDX0Q. So yeah, until next time, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Ta ta.